Good morning, YouTubers. T Square with T Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. I know I am. We had an interesting day yesterday in the precious metals markets, and that has me wanting to talk solely about gold and silver today. I will end up checking real quick the price of Bitcoin just to see what it has done. I am filming this video at pretty much midnight last night. And I think it's important that we talk about gold and silver for a couple different reasons. One, because in yesterday's video, I had mentioned that I think we will see a pullback this month. And some people will agree with that. Some people will disagree with that. And somebody had to make a comment, wrong again, as we had an amazing almost $2 jump in the price of silver yesterday. Basically a 6% jump, which was pretty amazing. And I would almost expect something like that to happen. And I'm going to explain why we might see something like that, because that is what I'll call it, a trap. A trap. Even though I think gold and silver are great purchases right now, I think the buying opportunity is awesome. I think it's a trap because where I think the price of silver is going to go by the end of this month is going to make, essentially today's prices not seem that good. Now, here's the thing. Where we're going to see it go in 6 months from now, you're going to look back at today's price and you're going to look at the price at the end of the month, and they're both going to seem like buying opportunities. I'm going to explain what I mean. In short, for people that aren't going to make it through the whole video, I think we're going to see the price kind of move up a little bit, scare people into, oh my word, I don't want to miss the boat, I better buy, and they're going to buy. And then I think we're going to see a huge pullback some point near the end of the month. Now, personally, I'm not afraid to make my calls, only because this is stuff that I practice. I do buy when I think the opportunity is there. I've been stacking for a while. I'm not under pressure. I don't, at this point, in the least bit, let the price scare me anymore. And that's because I believe that I'm all set no matter what happens. If the price did keep going up, hey, great, that's okay. If the price pulls back, it's a buying opportunity. That's great too. I know ultimately where silver is going to go is going to be a huge buying opportunity today or tomorrow or anytime this month, but I want to catch the lowest price. So we're going to talk about that. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that thumbs up button. I'm going to explain a little bit on why I think that this is going to happen, and I'm going to explain why I think in the long run we're going to see silver continue to go higher down the road. So before I get started, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button for me, help me out. Leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. Do you think we'll see a pullback this month and then a big jump? We are in the summer. We should be seeing pullbacks happen in the summer. There's an old saying, sell in May and go away. Some people just call it they sell during the summer because everybody goes on vacations. And some people will say what I say, we're finishing up the second financial quarter. That's usually when a lot of short positions have to be made right. And I think that that's going to happen, and that will drive the price down some point near the end of the month, most likely the last week of the month. So with that being said, let's jump in real quick and we'll just check what silver is at right now. So early this morning, some of y'all may have seen this, the price really did amazing. It shot up really as high as $34.80. Anybody out there that told me, oh great, I bought on credit card at $34 and now look, I'm underwater, thanks for that advice. First of all, what I talk about is just my personal opinions. It's not financial advice. I expect that people are going to do their own homework and not just blindly follow some YouTuber online. However, I'm pretty happy with my purchases of gold and silver. I loved it when it was 15. I loved it when it was 20. I loved it when it was 25. I loved it when it was 30. And right now I still like it, even though I'm hoping for a little bit of a pullback. So, I mean, $34.08 is where we're sitting right now. We already gave back roughly 80 cents. It looks like a 2% drop as of right now. But as you can see, just because it's registering at a 2% drop, take a look at what it did today, and we're already above, essentially above where we started the day. As you can see, as I zoom out for a 5-day, you can see how big today's jump was. Yes, we did see some pullback, but that's all right, because when I look at silver from year to date, it still looks great. And, a lot of people may not know this. January, February, March, end of March, look what happened. So here's what I want you to take from this right here. This is year to date. Look at the first quarter. So the first quarter runs the first 90 days of the year. That would be January, February, and March. As March comes to an end, what happens? A huge pullback. And instantly the price pops right back up, really. And it continues to go higher now than it has been any time in the last 6 months for closes, essentially. So we did hit a higher high, and this was it was a higher low right here. So what I want people to take from this, even though it gives back a little bit, I would not be surprised to see some sort of a pullback happen before the end of the month, because every 90 days, it seems like we always see some sort of a big pullback. Now, here's the thing. Silver supply, you have more people needing silver than ever before. You have the supply dwindling. And what I mean by dwindling, it's not running. I'm not going to say it's running out tomorrow. Let's not confuse that. But it is running out in terms of the extra savings account, I guess you can call it, is dwindling. That the balance that they have of excess silver is dwindling. We're using silver more and more every day. As we use more and more of it, it's only natural that as it starts running out even more, people will start to worry and put in bigger orders to make sure they can get theirs once they realize what's actually going on. And I think the powers that be know this, and that's why I think they're buying up a lot of physical silver, and they're pushing back out contract silver, which is paper silver, onto the market. And that's why when you look at the U.S. debt clock and you scroll down right here to silver physical, I'll call it paper to silver ratio, you have 374 to 1. So there's 374 paper ounces for every 1 physical ounce of silver. That means 373 people are not going to get their silver if something major happens. Now, some of those people are willing to sell it out. They don't really want the silver. They just want the profits. And if that's the case, hey, that's great. Because, hey, I don't care if they want their silver or not. I want my silver. A lot of you guys watching this video, you want your silver. And a lot of us all want to see our wealth go up. There's this belief, and I hear it time and time again, you don't make money off silver, you only protect your purchasing power. Well, here's the thing. Silver could skyrocket in price when the demand really picks up and they realize they've been compressing it, or basically overshorting it, just like GameStop. I mean, GameStop stock wasn't really worth $300 a share. Let's be honest. But it did go up to that. And the reason it went up to that was because people had been shorting it so hard that once people bought it and they had to pay back those shorts, well, they were in trouble, essentially. They didn't have the stock. They had to buy the stock, and they had to buy it at whatever the price was, which happened to be $300 a share, and that just drove it up all the way up. The same thing could happen with silver. A lot of people are borrowing silver, throwing it on the market to try to beat the price down to cover yesterday's shorts, almost like they're borrowing today to pay back yesterday's loans, and essentially they'll borrow tomorrow to pay back today's loans. Now, once you realize what's actually happening, you understand at some point you can't keep doing this forever. And that's kind of why I think eventually we're going to see silver pop unlike never before. Like we've never seen the kind of pop that's coming. But I'm only looking short term right now. I mean, there's no point in me looking way down the road because stuff could change. I mean, technically, let's be honest. Maybe they could find some huge new deposit. Maybe they'll start mining the moon. I don't know what kind of nonsense they'll be preaching down the road because there's new stories coming out every day that does have an effect on some people, scaring them into not wanting to invest in silver. And that's great. I don't mind. Because at the end of the day, that just makes it more of a buying opportunity for us. That just lets us be able to afford silver for a little bit longer. Now, someone might be wondering, well, what do you mean by this dip at the end of the month? So what I mean by that is these short positions usually cover in the last week of the financial quarter. Well, we're closing out the second financial quarter. That has to be closed out by the 180th day of the year, the halfway point. So here we are coming up pretty much on the halfway point of the year. It's about 30 days away. Once that happens, they're going to probably try to short the price of silver and push it down so they can get out from those previous contracts. They'll worry about the loans that they're going to borrow now. They'll worry about that down the road. They're worried about the loans that are coming due. And what I think will happen is that price will have a nice dip. Now, how low will it dip will depend on how high it jumps between now and then. Obviously, it's hard to really beat it down, although I'll be honest, look at what happened at around the 90-day mark. We seen silver go from 34, maybe you could even say 34.50, all the way down to 29. And it technically went down to 28.80, but it doesn't show that on the charts. All it shows is the candlestick down here, essentially in the gutter. Now, that was a big dip. I mean, you're talking almost a $6 dip in price. Now, I'm hoping that we're going to see something like that again, right from the $34, $35 range. Even if I see $30 silver, that's a buying opportunity. Because ultimately, I think we're going to work our way up again. And as long as we continue to go with higher highs and higher lows, then I think silver is a great buying opportunity. So when someone says, you were wrong, we're not seeing a pullback this month, it's way too early to tell. I mean, it's the third day of the month, essentially. The fourth, when you guys are watching this, but on my, oh no, actually, I don't know if that's right or not. Is it the third day? I think it might be the third day of the month. Needless to say, with that being said, I'm not even sure what the actual date is. I'm looking down here at the bottom of the computer, and it says 5/3, but it also says 12/04, but I thought 5/3 was yesterday, but I could be wrong. Needless to say, I'm not worried about short-term noise. I mean, as the price goes up, how many people do you think put in orders today when they seen that $2 jump? Oh, my word, this is it. Silver's going to run. If I wasn't secure and believed in my knowledge on what's going on, I would have probably bought today. I might have panicked and said, oh my word, I'm not going to get another opportunity. I better hurry up and put that order in. So if I had put in the order, then all of a sudden it inches up, and maybe I'll feel good as the week comes to an end or next week comes up and we're seeing maybe $35 silver. Maybe we'll even get lucky and see $36 silver. And then all of a sudden, you see that big pullback at the end of the month. But unfortunately, everybody already spent their money. They've spent the bulk of their money. And what choices do we have? You know, and then at the end of the month, if we see something else happen, like the stock market take a hit, we see Bitcoin take a hit, we see a lot of things come out where people realize, you know, I don't know if I can afford to sell some Bitcoin to buy some silver when the price is down. They'll have to wait. And so they won't buy the silver. They'll hold the Bitcoin because people that own Bitcoin or stocks are afraid to sell when the price dips. And that's totally understandable. I'm not going to sell my silver when the price dips. I'd be foolish. But all of a sudden, people just won't have the money to buy a nice order. Yeah, a lot of people will still, you know, take their paycheck, maybe squeeze out a couple ounces, $100, maybe even a couple $100. You know, I want to be ready for a nice big order. I would like to pick up 100 ounces at the end of the month, but I want to pick it up under $35 with the premium. Now, what I mean by that is I want to see spot price go under $32. I'd like to see under $31. By the time we hit $31 in silver, I will probably have already pulled the trigger, and I will probably totally miss if we do go down to 30 or 29 again, but I don't think the low will be as low as 3 months ago. Obviously, because a lot of silver is being bought up right now. So that makes it harder for them to push the price down. They need to borrow more short positions every time to push the price lower to cover the previous one. And, when the price is up, some people do flip out. They panic and they want to hurry up and buy. I want to buy when I can buy the dips. Now, in the long run, by the end of the year, I really do see silver over $40 by the end of the year. I think that's an easy call, a safe call. And therefore, it doesn't matter if I pick it up at $34 plus 2 premium or $31 plus 2 premium. I just want to get as much silver as I can under my belt for when that time comes. Moving on real quick to the gold price. So the gold price did fairly well yesterday. As you can see, we got up to 33.90. We brought that gold silver ratio actually down to 97 to 1, which is pretty impressive because not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, we were at 103 to 1. And I would not be surprised to see 103 to 1 come up again close to the end of this month. And if you're prepared for it, you'll have that opportunity. And a lot of that has to do with they have to beat the price of silver down. Now, in most cases, they've got to beat the price of gold down in order to try to beat the price of silver down, but it's a little harder. As you can see in this graph, this is a year-to-date graph. That previous drop in silver where I showed you that it went from basically $35 to $29, this is what gold did at that point. Gold went from $31.50 really all the way down to $29.70, $29.80. So only really losing about $180. Not that much when you really think about it. And it continued to jump way higher than it previously was. Now, we've been trading sideways on gold, and a lot of that does have to do with people thinking that gold can't go over 3,500. Like it's a cap right here. We got up there to 35, and then we literally plunged right back down. And here's the thing. I think people are missing the big picture when they think that. I talked to one friend of mine. He's a foreigner. He's extremely knowledgeable when it comes to sound money because he grew up in a country that recognizes gold and silver as money. In fact, they would prefer gold and silver over U.S. dollars and especially over their currency, their foreign currency, because they understand gold and silver holds value. But when I talk to him, he says, I don't really think it's going to go much over 3,500 this year. I don't even think we'll break 3,500 again this year. I think it's more likely we're going to stay right around the $3,300 range for the rest of the year. Now, I think that is false. I disagree with that statement only because I think as more and more stuff happens, I think more and more people are going to want to put a little bit of gold and silver away for that rainy day fund. More and more people are finding out about it. And so I think more and more people are going to want to invest in gold and silver. But I do think that silver has the better opportunity, even though gold looks nice. It doesn't have big hits, but I'm also going for that grand slam. Let's be honest. Every 10 years or so, you have some major silver reckoning. And what do I mean by that? You see silver just astronomically shoot up to where we bring that gold-silver ratio down. In some cases, we've seen it come down to like 50 instantly, and even lower if you go way, way back. Let's see. Well, this ain't really going to show it, but if you were to look at what the gold-silver ratio was in 2011, I would be convinced that it was extremely low. Now, here's the thing. To think that some kind of a major peak like this can't happen again, everybody believes, oh, you see this peak right here, and then it came back down, and it stayed down for a while. Okay, maybe. But then all of a sudden it started shooting up again. Where does it end? Where are we in this cycle? We've got like 6 times more currency in the world today than we had when gold hit 2000 the first time. Now, I'm not saying that means that gold is going to go to $10,000 or $12,000. I'm just saying a lot of people don't understand that it can happen. And that's just my opinion, not financial advice, but a lot of people are going to miss out. Now, here's the thing. I talked to some people, and they think that Bitcoin is going to go up to $1 million, 10 million, $1 billion. I even heard $1 billion for one Bitcoin. Oh, but remember, there's only 21 million of them. Okay. I mean, I find that far-fetched to think that a Bitcoin is going to get to $1 billion. But I mean, everybody wants to dream a little. I mean, you can't dream if what's the saying? You can't win if you don't play. You can't. I can't remember. The lottery has some kind of saying. I don't know. Dream big. Who knows? So maybe, I guess if you're going to dream big. I'm not trying to dream big when I bet on silver or gold. I mean, if silver goes to $50 this year, I'll be ecstatic. If silver goes to $100 in the next 3 years, I'll be happy too. And here's the thing. It's going to get even harder for people to stack precious metals as the price goes up. When I talk to people now, younger kids, and they tell me, yeah, I just bought a couple ounces. I paid, 37, 38 bucks an ounce. And I say, man, I remember when I had the chance to buy it, 15 bucks an ounce. And I was buying it. Don't get me wrong. However, a lot of people are going to look back at 30s and say, man, I remember when I had a chance to buy at 34, 35, and why I didn't just put everything on it, I don't understand. Well, they did that because they wanted to put it on Bitcoin. They want to put it on what is most advertised, what is most popular, as if popularity is going to take everybody to millionaire status. And it's not, in my personal opinion. In fact, most of the time, the most popular thing doesn't do quite as well, in my opinion. There's a Chinese saying. It says, the nail that sticks out gets the hammer. And it's true when you think about it. The nail that sticks out gets the hammer. It's not quite all the way down, so you hit it. Now, here's the thing. What sticks out right now? Mostly Bitcoin, mostly gold. I'll even say Bitcoin more. And I'll say crypto. I know some people say don't mistake Bitcoin for crypto. There's crypto and then there's Bitcoin. Okay, I'll agree with that. Bitcoin is the most well-known crypto. But there again, it's the one that sticks out the most. You guys can decide what that means. You guys know that I've been following the channel for a while. You know how I feel about Bitcoin. You know how I feel about blockchain. I love blockchain. I think it's popular. I think it's useful. I think it's going to be here to stay. Bitcoin, I don't feel the same way about. I think it's overpriced. I think any other crypto can do the same thing that Bitcoin does. I won't say any crypto, I guess. Maybe that's an inaccurate statement. I mean, a token is a token. You need your own blockchain in order to do essentially what Bitcoin does. And not every crypto has its own blockchain. A lot of cryptos actually run on the Bitcoin blockchain. A lot of cryptos run on the Ethereum blockchain. That is basically, we'll just say, that's why you see a lot of coins that are on the Bitcoin blockchain tend to move with Bitcoin. When Bitcoin goes up, it tends to pull a lot of coins up with it. Not all coins, but some coins. Now, like I said, I'm not totally against crypto. I'm not totally against blockchain. I love the blockchain. There's some cryptos that I do like, even though I currently don't invest in any. Why? Because I think the opportunity to invest in silver is amazing right now. I think this opportunity is not going to last. And by the time people realize gold and silver, the opportunity that it has, I think a lot of people will miss the boat. And it's going to happen fast. Some people have been talking about the Mar-a-Lago Accords, and maybe that will happen, maybe it won't. But either way, I think precious metals are going to continue to rise in price. Why? Because everything's rising in price. And the economy ain't as good as what they're telling us. So for that reason, I'm going to keep stacking what I can when I can. Taking a quick look real quick, since I think we did look at the Bitcoin price. Bitcoin price sitting right now at 105,261, down about 628 as we did see it pull back just a little bit. We look at the five day, it's kind of been going sideways. Look at a 1 month chart. It's slowing down its climb, but that's okay. It's still too early to call anything major. Taking a quick look at the DXY, this is one that I find really interesting. We are down to 98.6. I would not be surprised to see this drop down lower. I wouldn't even be surprised to see 97 before the month comes to an end, and then all of a sudden we'll kind of see something crazy happen at the end of the month. But if this goes down to 97, then that means silver and gold prices and Bitcoin prices will probably rise a little bit higher on the weakening dollar. And as that happens, that will convince people, oh my word, I better hurry up and bet my life savings on something. And then all of a sudden, that's when we'll see the big pullback in the short covering, especially in the gold and silver markets at the end of the month. Taking a look at the U.S. debt clock, I always like to check it. I'm curious what day we're going to hit the 37 trillion. I've already said I think it's going to happen right around the 20th. That's 17 days away. We're going up approximately $5 billion a day, plus a little bit more. That would put us at roughly 7 and 7 is 14. We'll say 15. That'd put us at roughly 15. That makes it roughly the 18th. But I'm still saying we should hit it right around the 20th. So we'll see what happens on that note. With that being said, I'm going to wrap the video up here. I thank everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the video, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you putting in an order right now because you think, hey, I'm missing the boat? Or are you going to wait until the possible dip that could be coming at the end of this month? Personally, like I said before, I'm not worried about it, but I also don't want to, if you ain't got no silver, literally, if you haven't taken the time and stacked a little bit, you've been maybe in the corner naysaying, talking trash about silver and gold, well, then, hey, who knows? It's up to you if you want to buy some, but don't come back over here and say, I didn't buy none. I waited for the dip and it never came. And then all of a sudden, the same people that were talking trash, all of a sudden are pro-silver. And then once it starts climbing, then they're dissing it again. I see that way too often, but I get a kick out of it anyway. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Check out some of these other great videos. A lot of good analogies, a lot of good information in here, and I will see you guys again. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment. It really helps me out. I'll talk to you all later. Have a great one. Bye-bye.